The sun was beginning to dip behind the trees, casting long shadows across a quiet suburban street. It was the kind of peaceful afternoon that made people slow down and appreciate the little things unless, of course, you found yourself in an unexpected situation. On the side of the road stood an elderly woman, elegantly dressed but looking visibly concerned. Her futuristic car, a sleek Tesla Cybertruck, had come to a halt due to a flat tire. She glanced at her phone, debating whether to call for help. Despite her composed demeanor, there was a clear trace of unease on her face. Cars zipped by, but none stopped to offer assistance. A short distance away, a young man named John, 20 years old, tall, and wearing a simple black t-shirt and sneakers, was riding his old bicycle home from a long day of work. His hands were calloused from the odd jobs he worked to help his family make ends meet. Despite his exhaustion, his sharp eyes caught sight of the woman standing by the side of the road. Slowing his bike, he paused for a moment to assess the situation. Something inside him wouldn't let him ride away. He had grown up believing that if you see someone in need, you lend a hand, no matter how small the act may seem. John pedaled closer, parked his bike, and approached the woman with a kind smile. "Excuse me, ma'am. Do you need help?" he asked, his voice calm and reassuring, though his appearance was modest. The woman looked at him, momentarily surprised. "Oh, thank goodness you stopped," she replied. "I think I have a flat tire, but I don't know how to fix it." John glanced at the tire, nodded confidently, and said, "No problem. I've got this. It'll only take a few minutes." Little did he know that this seemingly simple act of kindness was about to set off a chain of events that would change his life in ways he could never imagine. As John knelt down to inspect the tire, a conversation began between him and the woman. He told her about his day and how he worked hard to support his dreams of going to college, though he wasn't sure if he'd ever be able to afford it. The woman listened intently, moved by his honesty and humility. What neither of them realized at that moment was that this chance encounter wasn't just about fixing a flat tire. It was the beginning of something extraordinary, something that would remind us all of the transformative power of kindness. John wasted no time. He set his bicycle aside and crouched down beside the massive Cybertruck's flat tire. Though the vehicle was far more advanced than anything he was used to working with, his confidence didn't waver. The woman watched as he examined the tire, wiped his hands on his pants, and pulled a small tool set from the bag strapped to his bike. "Looks like it's just a puncture. I can patch it up for now, but you should get it checked properly later," he said in a calm, reassuring tone. "You seem to know what you're doing," the woman said, her voice tinged with gratitude. As John worked, they began to talk. The woman learned his name and that he had grown up in the area, juggling multiple part-time jobs to support his family while trying to save for college. "It's been tough," he admitted, "but I'm not complaining. My mom always says you've got to focus on what you can do, not what you don't have." The woman listened intently, her eyes softening as she heard his story. She could tell John wasn't just hardworking, he was kind-hearted, someone who genuinely cared about others. "And what do you want to study?" she asked. "Engineering," he replied, a spark in his eyes. "I've always been fascinated by how things work, machines, technology. I want to build things that can make life easier for people. But college is expensive, so I'm taking things one day at a time." The conversation flowed naturally as John worked, occasionally joking to lighten the mood. "I've got to say," he quipped, "this car is way out of my league. But hey, a tire is a tire, right?" The woman laughed, appreciating his sense of humor and humility. In about 20 minutes, John finished the repair. He stood up, wiping the sweat from his forehead. "There you go," he said, gesturing toward the tire. "You're good to go now." The woman reached into her purse and offered him some cash as a token of appreciation. John hesitated before politely shaking his head. "Thank you, but I can't take it. I didn't do this for money. I just wanted to help." His words left the woman speechless. In a world often driven by self-interest, here was a young man who didn't expect anything in return for his kindness. She tucked the money back into her purse and gave him a warm smile instead. "You've got a good heart, John," she said. "The world needs more people like you." As she prepared to leave, she asked if there was any way she could stay in touch. "No need," John said with a shrug. "I'm just happy I could help." "You take care, ma'am." The woman watched him as he picked up his bike and rode off, his silhouette fading into the distance. She sat in her car for a moment, reflecting on what had just happened. Little did John know that his simple act of kindness had left a profound impression on her. As the Cybertruck rolled away, the woman made a phone call. On the other end of the line was her son. "You won't believe the young man I just met," she said. "He helped me when no one else did, and I think you'll want to hear about this." John, meanwhile, pedaled home, unaware that his life was about to take an unimaginable turn. Sometimes the smallest gestures of kindness have the power to set off extraordinary changes. This was just the beginning. The elderly woman, still moved by her encounter with John, arrived home that evening and immediately picked up the phone to call her son. The call connected, and on the other end of the line was Elon Musk, one of the most recognizable names in the world. "Hi, Mom," Elon greeted warmly. "How was your day?" "Well, let me tell you," she began with a chuckle. "I had quite the adventure. My Cybertruck had a flat tire today." "Elon, always one to worry about his mother," interjected. "Are you okay? Did someone help you?" "Yes, I'm fine," she reassured him. "But that's what I want to tell you about. A young man stopped to help me, no hesitation, no questions, just kindness. His name is John, and he's only 20 years old." Elon listened attentively as his mother recounted the story. She described how John had gone out of his way to fix the tire, and how he had refused any payment for his help. But what struck her the most was his story, how he was working multiple jobs, helping his family, and saving for college to study engineering. "You should have seen him, Elon," she continued. "He is smart, humble, and has a heart of gold. He reminded me of you when you were his age, full of dreams and determination." Elon was silent for a moment, taking it all in. "Mom, it sounds like this young man deserves a break," he finally said. "Do you have any way to reach him?" "No," she admitted, "but I can describe him, and I know where I was when I met him. I'm sure we can find him." Hearing the determination in his mother's voice, Elon agreed. "Okay, let us make it happen. If he wants to be an engineer, we can help him. And anyone who treats you with that much kindness is someone I want to meet." Over the next few days, Elon's team quietly worked to track John down. They reviewed nearby traffic camera footage, scoured social media for any mentions of the encounter, and reached out to local communities. Meanwhile, John continued his daily routine, completely unaware that the world's richest man was looking for him. Finally, after days of searching, they located him. Elon's mother smiled when she received the news. "He has no idea what's coming," she said, a glint of excitement in her eyes. Elon prepared to meet John, eager to reward the young man whose simple act of kindness had touched his mother's heart. This wasn't just about a flat tire, it was about recognizing someone who embodied the qualities that could change the world. John, meanwhile, was at home repairing an old toaster for a neighbor. Seated at the small, cluttered workbench in the corner of his family's living room, he was focused on the task at hand. The faint sounds of his younger sister giggling in the other room brought a smile to his face. Despite the challenges his family faced, these little moments of joy kept him going. As he was testing the toaster, a loud knock on the front door startled him. "I'll get it," he called, wiping his hands on his jeans before heading to the door. When he opened it, John froze in disbelief. Standing there, with his unmistakable presence and a small team behind him, was Elon Musk. John blinked, convinced for a moment that he was imagining things. Surely this couldn't be real. "John?" Elon said, extending his hand with a warm smile. Yeah, that's me," John stammered, shaking Elon's hand while his mind raced to process what was happening. "I've heard a lot about you," Elon said, his tone kind and genuine. "My mom told me about how you helped her out the other day." She was really moved by your kindness, and so am I. I wanted to meet you in person. John's family, now aware of the unexpected visitor, gathered behind him, equally stunned. His mother, still in her nursing scrubs, whispered, "Is that Elon Musk?" as she stood frozen in awe. John struggled to find the words. "I just did what anyone would do," he finally said, his voice shaking. "Not everyone would stop and help a stranger, especially without expecting anything in return," Elon replied. "That is rare, and it speaks volumes about who you are. I want to thank you for what you did for my mom, and I also want to hear more about your dreams, your goals." Elon and his team were invited inside, where they sat down with John and his family. As John shared his story, Elon listened intently, nodding with understanding. He asked John about his passion for engineering, his challenges in affording college, and his vision for the future. When John finished, Elon leaned forward with a glint of excitement in his eyes. "You remind me a lot of myself at your age," he said. "Ambitious, hardworking, and curious about how the world works. I think someone like you deserves an opportunity to pursue your dreams. That's why I'm here." John's eyes widened as Elon continued. "I want to help you, whether it's paying for college, connecting you with internships, or even bringing you on board to work with my teams. I'll make sure you have the resources to achieve your goals." For a moment, John was speechless. This was a dream come true, something he never thought would happen to someone like him. "I don't even know what to say," he finally whispered, his voice thick with emotion. "You don't have to say anything," Elon replied. "Just keep being the person you are, kind, hardworking, and genuine. The rest will fall into place." What began as an ordinary day for John had transformed into a moment he would remember forever. Elon Musk's visit wasn't just a thank you, it was the beginning of a future John had only dared to imagine. Just when John thought Elon Musk's surprise visit couldn't possibly become more surreal, the moment took an even more extraordinary turn. After sitting and chatting with John and his family for what felt like hours, Elon stood up and gestured for everyone to join him outside. Curious and slightly nervous, John followed Elon to the driveway, his family trailing behind. Parked there was a sleek, futuristic-looking vehicle, Elon's personal Tesla. But beside it was something even more eye-catching, a brand-new Cybertruck. Elon turned to John with a grin. "John, I want to start by giving you this Cybertruck. It's yours now." John's jaw dropped as his eyes darted between Elon and the gleaming truck. "Wait, what? Are you serious?" he stammered, his voice barely above a whisper. "Absolutely," Elon replied. "I heard from my mom how you fixed her flat tire with nothing but a few tools and a lot of ingenuity. I thought you might like something a bit more advanced to work on and to get you around town. No more pedaling everywhere." John's family gasped in unison, their disbelief mirroring his own. "I don't even have my driver's license yet," John admitted, his voice tinged with both excitement and embarrassment. Elon chuckled. "Then that's step one. I'll cover the cost of your lessons and license. Consider this an investment in your future." But Elon wasn't done yet. He pulled out a folder from his team and handed it to John. "Inside this folder is something even more important," Elon explained. "It's a fully funded scholarship to any engineering program of your choice. Whether you want to study at MIT, Stanford, or any other school, it's covered. Tuition, living expenses, everything." John's hands trembled as he opened the folder, scanning the documents inside. He looked up at Elon, his eyes brimming with tears. "I don't know how to thank you for this," he said, his voice cracking. "You've already done more than enough," Elon said sincerely. "Helping my mom wasn't just about fixing a tire, it was about showing the kind of character that makes the world better. We need people like you, John, and I want to make sure you have every opportunity to reach your full potential." John's mother, who had been silently wiping away tears, stepped forward and hugged her son tightly. "You've earned this," she whispered, her voice full of pride. "You deserve every bit of it." The neighbors, who had started gathering to see what all the commotion was about, erupted into applause when they saw what was happening. For John, this moment felt like a dream, and yet it was real, every bit of it. As the shock began to settle in, John realized that his life was about to change forever. No longer would he be weighed down by financial worries or the uncertainty of his future. He could finally pursue his dream of becoming an engineer, armed with the tools and resources to succeed. Elon clapped John on the back and smiled. "Now go out there and build something amazing," he said. And in that moment, John knew he would. In the months following Elon Musk's visit, John's life underwent a complete transformation. What had once seemed like an endless cycle of hard work and struggle was now a journey filled with hope, opportunity, and purpose. The first step of John's new life was learning to drive. Elon's team arranged for him to take professional driving lessons, and within weeks, John passed his test with flying colors. Driving the Cybertruck that had been gifted to him was an entirely surreal experience. Every time he got behind the wheel, he was reminded of how far he had come and how much further he could go. Next, John focused on his education. After careful consideration, he decided to enroll in a prestigious engineering program at Stanford University. Elon's team handled all the arrangements, ensuring that John's tuition, housing, and even his books were fully covered. When John arrived on campus, he felt a mixture of excitement and disbelief. Coming from a modest neighborhood, he had never imagined stepping foot into such a world-class institution, let alone as a student. Though the transition wasn't without challenges, John's determination and work ethic shone through. He poured himself into his studies, quickly becoming a standout student. Professors praised his ability to think critically and approach problems with creativity, skills he had honed over years of working with limited resources. Beyond academics, John found himself stepping into a new world of opportunities. Elon personally invited him to visit Tesla's headquarters, where he met engineers and innovators who were shaping the future. It was there that John had his first glimpse of what it meant to work on projects that could change the world. Back home, John's transformation inspired his family and community. Seeing one of their own achieve so much reminded everyone that kindness and hard work truly could open doors. John's younger sister began dreaming bigger for herself, while his mother finally felt the weight of their financial struggles lifting. What amazed John most, however, was how much he had grown personally. The shy, hardworking boy who once doubted his future was now a confident young man with a clear vision of his path. He realized that his act of kindness that day on the roadside hadn't just changed his life, it had unlocked his potential. John started to give back to his community, mentoring local kids and sharing his story to inspire others. He wanted everyone to know that no matter their circumstances, their actions and character could lead to incredible opportunities. From repairing bikes and toasters to working with some of the greatest minds in engineering, John's journey was nothing short of extraordinary. And as he walked the halls of Stanford and Tesla, he carried with him the same humility and kindness that had set everything in motion. His transformation wasn't just about success, it was about becoming the person he was always meant to be. John's story is a testament to the power of kindness, hard work, and the life-changing impact of seizing an opportunity. What began as a simple act of generosity helping a stranger on the side of the road transformed not only John's life but also the lives of those around him. From struggling to make ends meet to attending one of the most prestigious universities in the world, John's story is proof that even the smallest actions can ripple outward in extraordinary ways. As he navigated his new life, John stayed true to the values that had carried him through his struggles: humility, determination, and a belief in the importance of helping others. The boy who once doubted whether his dreams were even possible was now paving the way for others to dream big. His success wasn't just measured in academic achievements or the shiny Cybertruck parked in his driveway, it was in the hope and inspiration he gave to his community and beyond. Through his story, we're reminded that kindness is never wasted. It's a spark that can light up a path, not just for ourselves but for others as well. John's act of stopping to help someone in need, despite his own challenges, brought him to the attention of one of the most influential people in the world. But it also showed the world what true character looks like, someone who gives without expecting anything in return.